Welcome to Projects for All. My name's Mike, and today I'm freaking excited because Creality has sent down here this Falcon A1 laser engraving machine. This was sent here for free so I could show it to you guys. What this is basically a laser engraver designed and sold for complete beginners. You get out of the box, you hook it up to your computer, you get the software set up, and you're cutting. This is perfect for me because I am an absolute beginner. I'm not a stranger to computers, and I consider myself a fairly handy guy, but this is the first laser engraving machine I've ever seen in person. So come on in, we're gonna get it set up and we're gonna do some cutting. Once in a while, it is fun to do something completely out of the norm. Nicely packed accessory pack, owner's manual, power brick, feels like nice quality. There's our laser head, secured with foam, feels solid. Obviously our power cord, this looks like the air assist. This entire thing is filled with foam. It's like a little test piece of wood, so much foam. You know, these companies get carried away with packaging, but I think in this case it's warranted. Let's go over the physical parts of this machine first. You have two plexiglass lids here that you can open. They're magnetic. The machine itself won't operate unless these are closed. You can see maybe there's a little light right there. When I close this, the light goes off. So the machine knows when this cover is open and won't work. And that is basically just to protect your eyes with this colored plexiglass. A quick note, if you're gonna clean this, I already scratched it very lightly with a microfiber cloth, so be careful if you're cleaning that. The laser itself is, like I said, 10 watts. You can move it around inside here. It is belt driven. It's basically a CNC machine in a box with a laser attached to it. The connections on the side of the machine include USB-C, which is how you connect it to a computer. Here's an air inlet with a little silicone hose. Here's a plug for a rotary kit. I actually have that on order, but I haven't received it yet. I don't know if I'll get it in this video or not. A barrel key lock, so if you have kids or an orange cat at home, they can't use it. Here's your plug for your air pump power. There's actual power. You have an actual power switch. And then over on the left here, you have an emergency cutoff switch that turns the machine off. And you have a start button. That's it for connections on this machine. Is very simple. In the back here you have some branding and you have an exhaust port, and that's it. That's all you got on this thing. The gantry inside here is belt drive. You can move it by hand, so you can position it. You can do that through the computer and the software also, but a long series of belts drive this. Setting it up really only takes a minute or two. You have your power brick plugged in. This is the air pump. It plugs into physical power on the side here, and then the silicone hose plugs into the top of it here. It's got rubber mounted feet, so you really don't hear it running, just barely at all. That's all you have to do to set it up. Oddly enough, if you're running a MacBook with only USB-C ports like this one, you have to use an adapter. USB-C to USB-C will not work, even though that's USB-C and this is too. You need this plug, USB-A, with an adapter to bring it down to USB-C, or it will not work, trust me. I honestly don't know what the minimum requirements for a computer system to run this would be, but this computer here is a 2019 model that I bought in 2021 to do this YouTube channel. And I run all my editing software through this. It is an i9 processor. It's 32 gigs of RAM. A little old, but still works pretty good. It has 4 USB-C ports on it. It's a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and that's what we're going to use for this. The only other things to look at here, you have a camera mounted to the bottom of the lid here, and you're going to use this for all your alignment and calibration purposes. In the back here, you have an exhaust fan, and that was for the port in the back, and it comes with a flexible exhaust hose. This is about 6 feet long. The exhaust port in the back is just a hair over 2¼ It's 57.5 millimeters. Once you've downloaded Falcon Design Space, I put a shortcut right on my desktop so I can find it without searching for it because it isn't an App Store app. The first thing that come up is this page. This is the home page. There's some projects you can download. But up here, there's a tab for Canvas, and this will bring you into the controller software and the design software. We're gonna go into our web browser, and this is Creality Wiki, and there's a lot of good information on here. This is Falcon Design Space User Manual. It explains to you how to download. Since they say you can basically plug this in and make something immediately, let's find something basic here. Here's a dog. Let's hit the button that says make it, and let's see what happens. Do I want to save the current project? No. And there we are, right on the screen. There's our dog. Our layers look to be all set up. Now we have to go in here and pair our machine, and we're going to select Falcon A1, 10 watt. We'll hit connect. Yeah, it says connection failed. What I'm going to do is turn the machine off and turn it back on. And that should do it. Camera, we can hit preview up here. Let's just look. There's a dog. This is 3 millimeters. Basswood. I bought a 30 pack of these on Amazon. I'll put links for all the stuff I bought. And we're just going to set that right in the center there. So we're going to adjust the height of our laser. You can just grab this and gently move it to where you would like. We have engraving cutting, thickness 1 to 3 mil, 4 to 6 mil, and greater than 6. And it is a step standoff. So we're going to loosen the thumb screws here. Actually, this top one, it's not even touching. So we only need to do the bottom one. And we will set our laser right on there, and we'll tighten this up. And we can pull that out. And now we have the correct height for 1 to 3 millimeters. We're just gonna hit start and see if it produces that dog on that piece of wood. It says 45 minutes it's gonna take to do this. We're obviously not gonna sit here and watch all 45 minutes of it, but I'm gonna make sure that nothing crazy happens. You know what? I'm gonna hit abort because that's the bottom of the dog right there. I should have positioned the laser head into the center before I started doing this. So once I open the lid, it shuts everything off. This isn't hot, but let's just take it and stick it in the middle. I'm gonna hit start again. Actually, here, let's move it down. Since we know it's gonna start at the bottom, I'll move it down there. And I'll hit start again. There's really no reason to get the decibel meter out for this because it's very quiet. We're at about the 45-minute mark here. I should have scaled this down, and it would have taken a lot less time, but I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. It's getting there. I just kind of vacated the garage. I popped the door because it is pretty smoky in here. Just about done cutting it out. Looks pretty sweet. There we are. I'll let it cool off a little bit and then I'll open it up. Let's see. Everything should be cool. It's been sitting here and man, that looks pretty awesome. It's totally cut out. And there we are. One dog cut out. Got a little bit of warpage just because there was so much engraving in this. But man, that is cool. Relief cut. Well, how cool is that? Creality's claim that you can take this out of the box and set it up and immediately create something is 100% accurate in my opinion. This took no skill. It was the stock photo from the software and it turned out pretty cool. But I don't think anyone buys one of these machines with the intention of just doing this. Obviously, creating something of your own or making your own projects is the point of this, and that's going to get a little more involved. All right, we'll just use this as an example. My wife bought this doorbell, wants me to install it here, obviously, but this wire is pinched in here, so I either need to make a hole here to fit the wire and the base of this, or I'm gonna have to make some kind of base to install on here where I can coil the wire up and fit this. So we're gonna draw something to fit here just as a proof of concept and to see if we can make a base with our laser engraver. So this is my first attempt at manipulating shapes. There are tools along here to do that, and I am no expert. This is going to be off from the doorbell, but it will give my wife something to look at, and she can decide if she wants me to spend time and I can make the actual real shape. Now I've switched to Lightburn, and I did that because they had a 30-day free trial, and because there's so much more documentation for Lightburn and tutorials and things you can watch online to learn quickly. I think I made the right decision. I have my laser in the middle there, but actually I'm going to turn the machine off and back on, and it's going to go home, which is in this corner here. It's going to find the end there. And it found the end there. So now I can open this, and I'll gently move it back to the center of my material. Come over here and I'll hit frame. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have it set to turn on at 1/4 power now. And it's going to show me exactly where it's going to cut. So now if it's off the material at all, I can watch it. And I know it's not going to be off the material trying to cut through the bottom here. So we'll hit start. It took me about 45 minutes to draw this out. And it was the very first time manipulating shapes in Lightburn. Maybe a little hot on our settings, but that's okay. It does leave a mark from every cut on the bottom here. And not only that, it leaves a residue, and I've been wiping it out. I've been using like an all-purpose Windex to clean that and making sure it's dry. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but that's what I've been doing. We got a lot of ventilation in this garage. I popped the big door when we do this. There we go. Biggest to smallest. I made this 22 millimeter, which is bigger than this. So I should be able to coil the wire inside there after connecting it. We'll see. But it's an idea. I know the shape's way off, but if the wife thinks that's a cool idea, then I will put the time in really developing this so it is the exact same shape as this, and it'll look real cool. So you guys tell me what you think. All right, we'll save this drawing. We can come back to that if the wife wants me to. And then erase that. We'll file, and we'll go to baseball. Now this took me about an hour to figure out how to get this logo into this software and then size this correctly. And it should be sized correctly to fit right in here. We're gonna print that out and we'll see size comparison. And then I'm gonna be super ambitious and set up the Rotary Tool and see if I can engrave that on this baseball. I paid about 30 bucks for a dozen of these unbranded blank baseballs. And I did this just so I could check size, and it looks like it's going to be fine. So I had trouble with the Rotary Tool at first, and it was obviously, and of course my settings, I still had 40 millimeters per rotation set here, and obviously 360 for a Rotary Tool is going to be the right answer. I had to find out from Creality's technical support about this, but it looks like it's going to work. I'm also going to give Creality's desktop smoke eater a try. It's just a charcoal canister filter with a fan in it, but we're going to give this a shot today too. Just came in the mail. Now that I have it set to 360-degree rotation, when I hit frame, Looks like it's gonna hit it right in the middle there. So we'll hit start and let's see what happens. Clearly, I need to turn up the power on the laser, but it is backwards. I probably clicked this in my attempt to figure out the settings for the 360 millimeter rotation. So I'm gonna hit mirror output to rotary and turn that off, and we'll give it another shot. I'm sure that's why, but we'll find out in a second. Also, I'm gonna turn up the laser power. What do I have it set to? 250 millimeters a second, 75% power. Let's go to 80% power. Actually, let's go 85%. Let's see what that does. And a little bit slower. All right, reload again. All right, attempt number 2. Let's hit frame. Looks like we'll be pretty good. And we'll hit start. Don't forget, this one's a little bit slower and a little bit more powerful. And I can already tell that the mirror the mirror setting was wrong, and that fixed it. Now it's printing the correct way. All right, so there's the final result. Here is Y-axis with the rotary settings incorrect. Here is Z-axis with the rotary settings incorrect. Z-axis with the rotary settings correct, but with the mirror function turned on. And there you go. How cool is that? I'm off rotation by probably a few degrees, but the centering is darn near perfect, and that looks absolutely amazing. I'm gonna slow it down and turn it up just a little bit more, and I'll see if I can get a darker engraving, but honestly, I couldn't be more pleased with that result after a few hours of tinkering with this thing, and I'm able to produce that. How cool is that? So how do you guys think we did in this one? I really, really love this machine. It's almost no setup, simple to use, mostly self-explanatory. The one thing I didn't use, which I thought was really cool when they sent it down here, was this camera. I calibrated this camera when I got it. I didn't show you guys because that was the only time I used the camera the whole time. Setting this up, positioning the laser by hand and hitting frame and making sure it's going to cut where you want it to is seamless and fast and easy, and I didn't really see a need for this. Now, I could be totally missing the point and don't have enough experience to know all the cool things I could do with the camera, and that's possible. But in the end, I was able to accomplish almost everything I set out to do. I printed some stock photos. We did the dog, and there's a cat, not centered properly, but that was the first thing I cut. I didn't show you guys. I did one thing before I showed you the dog, just to see if I could do it. The second thing I did was engrave the family names in this board here. I picked the font and typed it out and hoped I got it in the center. And that worked out good. The shapes I did for the doorbell worked out beautifully. I mean, they're not the right shape, but proof of concept and manipulating shapes, I know how to make that shape, and I can measure it and redo it if the wife wants me to put that on the house. I was able to import the image, find an image, import it, size it correctly to fit the baseball. All in all, for probably, I probably have 4 or 5 total hours messing with this thing. The video took me a long time to make because there's all the unknowns, and it's hard to make a video like that. Trust me, with no script and just sitting down and trying to do something new, it's stressful. But honestly, if there was no video involved and I was just doing this, it's a lot of fun, and I actually really enjoy it. At the moment, this is $600, I think, regular price. I've seen it on sale just recently for $500. I think it is a phenomenal deal. I got the rotary on sale. I got the smoke eater on sale. We're gonna move this now to the house because it's 100 degrees out today and I am dying in here. It's been that way for like the last 4 days. So you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you want to see more videos with this thing? Woodworking applications, maybe some exotic woods. I think there's a lot of practical use here. And then when you're not using it for something practical, it's a lot of fun to use. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. If you have kids, this thing is awesome. My kid's super psyched about this. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.